Monster Hunter Wilds is out, and it brings with it new forms of quality of life, cool new combat styles, and of course new monsters with a campaign roughly 15 hours and a wider approach to newcomers. There's a good reason to try out this game if you are new to the series, but little to do for our veteran players. Sorry guys, allergies have been kicking my butt, so excuse the way my voice may sound, but I gotta give you guys the 101 on Monster Hunter Wilds. This is my second Monster Hunter game, first one being Worlds, and I think they realized just how much they could capture a new audience because they refined the life out of this to create Wilds. And I have to talk about the bad before I get into the good. Firstly, the specs of this game are going to stress your PC. I have a decent PC, it's like 5 years old, a 3070, and it runs games just fine. But when I tried to stream the game and run it, that was a different story. I had to actually buy the game on the PS5 in order to stream it. Plus, for what it's asking for, you're not getting anything graphically impressive, which usually is never an issue, but when it's asking for so much from a PC, then I start to feel it. That shouldn't disregard the style that this game provides, which is to say beautiful, fun to look at, and surpasses most realistic graphics. I always think style over substance should work in this case. Secondly, the game is weird. It's kind of not like your RPG traditionally that you may play. There are hurdles to the systems, and you really just have to go in there and play the game. It isn't much of a learning curve, just more of an adjustment. Running in and killing monsters is easy. Anyone can figure that out, how to attack and dodge. Knowing how to craft, cook, play with friends, navigating the menus, taking items into an extra pack, or how to organize what goes into your pack, or knowing that your sacred holds extra things for you. Give it time, but once you get it, and it just starts to work. Which brings me to my third issue. This is a shared world, similarly to Destiny, but man, is it a pain to try to do a playthrough with this game with someone else. Unlike in Marvel Rivals, where you simply add a friend, then invite them from there. This is a game where you add friends, join lobby, link up with the party, and that's all fine if you're doing endgame stuff, but to do the story with someone, you have to be on the same quest at the same point, and when the quest starts, wait for the story to end, actually start the hunt, make sure your friend is also in the same hunt, abandon your hunt to join theirs, and just do that for every mission. Now, the game will recognize when you beat a hunt, so you still progress through the story. It's not the most efficient way to co-op a campaign. And lastly, my fourth critique of the game will have to be the runtime, where 15 hours long campaign might not be so bad for newcomers or casuals like myself. Veterans of the series won't have much to do for endgame, and with only 2 new monsters planning to release on the roadmap, the more hardcore audience won't have much to look forward to. And I've heard that the game is easy compared to other series. And then when I compare my experience in Worlds with Wilds, I do agree. There are less monsters I really struggle with, and in Worlds there would be encounters that were so hard I'd figured there's no way I could do this now. Whereas in Wilds, I didn't really have to worry about grinding for gear. I could just continue moving forward without having to go back and really level up my character. So for returning fans, it may feel like you can blow through this game with little more to do. But that has not stopped the over now 8 million sold copies from people buying and playing this game, because it's really good. Despite what I said earlier, there is a ton of quality of life when it comes to actual gameplay. The mount will autopilot its way to wherever you mark, which can take away from knowing the lay of the land and the slow hunt that the old games used to provide. However, the function of changing battle areas stays the same, and you can gather all the resources from atop it. Combat is also a lot of fun, and movement isn't as clunky as it was in Worlds. Even going through and watching the hardcore Monster Hunters talk about the combos, you can tell they work to make the combos fun and powerful. I use Sword and Shield along with the dual blades. With the addition of adding more defensibles, perfect blocking monsters with my shield, and going head to head in a tug of war style button mashing is too cool. As well as with my dual blades, I get perfect dodge that gives me increased damage on top of being able to do damage every time I dodge is just badass. These defensives reward players for playing a little more risque, and add to the agency of playstyles you want to immerse yourselves in. Go toe-to-toe with the monster? Check. Play with traps, utility, status monsters down? Check. Use an absurd amount of bombs to bully monster? Check. You add the new wound system that makes doing this so much easier and gives me such an ego boost and aura against a monster. I love that these games have style and a vision and make the coolest, most fun way to kill monsters. Sure, there's a story, but that's not what keeps you sticking around. The story is mid in this game. You are here to hunt monsters, and man, do the monsters look good. Each one with its own unique set of moves, enough so that every encounter felt fresh, and even though I was pushing for wounds and the same combos, achieving that with each monster kept it new. Killing a monster and harvesting its remains is the loot in this game. And after playing other games recently that didn't really care about the drip, I was surprised when even the ugly monsters gave me some of the best looking loot in this game. I always respect games that don't have a difficulty because there's confidence in the game design, and that has stayed true with this series. Wilds has made changes for the better, but also created a game for a more streamlined audience. This brings with it a bigger community, more money to hopefully do more with the game, and yes, seeing 1 million players is cool, but it's disappointing to only see 2 new monsters lined up for DLC. The hope I have for this game is to crank up the difficulty for the end game while adding more monsters to take those new players and give them a challenge to create even more hardcore fans. Right now, I'd have to give the game an 8 out of 10. Great if you are a casual or new to the series. Until next time, guys, play nice.
Hey, I'm Mario. I like playing video games, watching movies, and Dungeons and Dragons. If you keep getting me in your suggested videos or you're watching this video right here, consider subscribing. It goes a long way. Thank you.